Good evening and welcome to the Morrison County Board of Adjustment public hearing for September 2nd, 2025. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I have a few items to cover before we get started. Please sign in at the door if you've not already done so. There you will also find a detailed handout of the step-by-step procedure we will follow tonight if you wish to take one. Please put any electronic devices on silent mode at this time. Also, please note that all testimony is being recorded for the record. Members of the Board of Adjustment are appointed by the County Board of Commissioners with one member from each of the 5 commissioner districts. Land Services staff is here to assist the Board of Adjustments with its duties. Task of the Board of Adjustment is to consider requests for variances and appeals from an order requirement or decision made by a county zoning official in accordance with the state law and county ordinance. Each request is considered on its own merit. The burden of proving a practical difficulty rests with the applicant. If a variance is granted, it is granted to the land, not to the landowner. There's a protocol for how we will proceed tonight. For each variance request on the agenda, we will hear a staff report, testimony from the applicants, and then the board will discuss and gather more information as needed. Next, I'll ask if there's anyone in the audience wishing to speak to this request. I'll ask each party to go up to that podium, state their name and address for the record, and give their testimony. Please be as factual as possible and direct all statements and questions to me. After all testimony is complete, I will close the public hearing portion of the process. The board will then review and discuss the case in terms of finding fact criteria as required by Minnesota statute and county ordinance. We'll have a series of votes, discuss whether conditions be made, and have a final motion to approve or deny the request based on those findings. After this final vote on your request, you may leave if you wish. And we only have one agenda item this evening. Stephen and Kathleen Johnson, please state your name and address for the record.
Stephen Johnson, 30887 Fish Trap Lake Drive, Cushing, Minnesota, is where the residence is.
Perfect. And this is for an application to expand a non-conforming dwelling within the Bluff Impact Zone. So staff report, Ms. Amy?
Yes, Mr. Chair. The ordinance sections that pertain to this is 706.1 B and E. Here's an aerial photograph of the property outlined in blue and yellow. And then here's some oblique imagery of the property as well. And here is a photo from the lake. And here's a survey that was provided by the applicant. And also some site drawings that were also in your packet. Here's a site photograph taken at the viewing on the 29th of August. According to the assessor's records, a 1,064 square foot, 2-story walkout dwelling built in 1974 is on the parcel, and it's about 85 feet from the lake. There are bluff conditions on the east side of the property, and the existing dwelling is partially within the bluff. The applicant proposes constructing a 940 square foot walkout addition onto the west side of the dwelling. The addition would be outside the bluff and the bluff impact zone. The submitted survey indicates a 24,994 square foot building envelope. The proposed addition is within that building envelope. And then here is that survey again with everything in blue is bluff and bluff impact zone. Everything in the pink is the building envelope. And here are your criteria questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And one note for the record, we were out there on Friday, August 29th, which we would have had a longer holiday weekend, but we didn't, so that's not for the record. So I had to do it. Did that seem right, that staff report? Anything to add, change?
Nope, sounds great.
Okay. Board members, questions, comments for the applicant?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
so I've got a few questions. Number one, Amy, did you get a picture taken care of that erosion that was in the bluff? Okay.
I did. I didn't put it in here, but I did show it to our shoreline specialist.
Okay. So What year or how long has that been tarred?
The driveway itself?
The driveway coming down, and it looks like you put a little berm and to prevent from,
Yeah, the driveway was 2022, I believe.
okay, so,
And then the berm was pre-existing, but we added a rain gutter, to help with the water.
okay.
flow.
And definitely, it's working for,
great.
for that. And my concerns, which I was really, well, we were all surprised that there was not any erosion there. And why is this the amount? And then you look over, and then you could see where it was starting to erode in the bluff area. And that's a real sensitive area.
Sure.
And that's why I did bring it to our shoreline specialist to possibly look at. And you got an engineer involved in this now, right?
I do, correct, yeah.
Okay.
And I also talked to my landscape guy on Friday afternoon, and we're gonna take that area where the erosion is at the end of the driveway and add some rock, like inch and a half, kind of in that whole area to help with the drainage and runoff erosion.
I believe that if we're gonna do this, it needs to be an engineered plan approved by Land Services before I could even possibly support this, because this is in a bluff, it is a very sensitive area. Not often do we allow anything in the bluff.
Sure.
But that, I believe, rather than rock, will it work? Very possible, but
Yep.
I think, you spent the money so far getting an engineer involved, and the way I was talking with Darren, it sounds like you were right along, working with Land Services.
Correct.
Coming up with different ideas which would work, and I think we all appreciate that.
Yep.
End of it, you're trying to make something work in that area, and obviously you can see you're trying to be a good steward of it, and, this was one piece that something got missed, and that's why we'd like to get an engineer involved. But with that being said, I would like to have a condition that we'd have an engineered stormwater plan approved by Land Services for this.
Mr. Chair, I believe I've already submitted an engineered,
But with this here,
so it would just be,
addition to, with the tar, like,
yeah,
We can update the.
In addition
the
to it.
existing plan that we submitted, just to make sure that that's covered. That area where the water runs off is on the edge of the property, which is just outside. The bluff is only about 25 feet, and then it goes back down below bluff.
Okay.
So where the water drainage is actually on the below. It's not officially in the, but it's important to us, I agree.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay, but, yeah, that's why I said I'd like a representative or whatever, look at and see recommendations from that, so thank you.
Okay.
Good with that?
Yep.
Okay,
I'm good with that.
Brent Clint?
I don't have anything. No questions, just a comment maybe that, at first glance, when I looked through this, when I first got the first announcement about this, particular applicant, I was like, what the heck's he wanna do here? And, after reading through it, after going out and doing a site visit, first, thank you for making it a little easier on us for changing your plans, giving up some things, building it where it needs to be built.
Okay.
I think that, and looking at the whole site, the willingness to do whatever you have to do to protect that land. I will say one thing, I did note on Friday that I previously knew that property before you owned it.
Yep.
I hauled propane to that house for a number of years, and what you've done with that particular property is about threefold what it was before. So, just wanted to thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's all I had, was just a comment.
Thank you. Without any other comments or questions from the board members here, I'm going to open this section of the meeting to the public. I have to ask 3 times. Any public comment, please go up and state your name and address and facts for the record. Any public comment? Any public comment? We'll now close this section of the meeting to the public, and we'll move on to the discussion around the finding of our fact criteria. As we're talking through these questions, we do have one condition, that is an engineered plan for the driveway runoff. So question one, is the request in harmony with the general purposes and intent of the Morrison County Land Use Ordinance and Comprehensive Plan? Brent?
I think it is. Anything that happens to this property or any property in the county after 1990 with a bluff determination has to have a variance. And so coming forward to this meeting or applying for a variance is the appropriate course of action. And you've done that. You went through the DRT. You made changes to that. You come up with a new plan that better addresses the bluff, moving it to the other side. And so it is in harmony at this point with the general purposes and intent of the Morrison County Land Use Ordinance.
Thank you, Brent. Question two, is the applicant proposing to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by the Land Use Ordinance? Clint?
Yes, I think this plan, when we look at where he's going to put it, it's basically almost all in the building envelope. There's a little sliver of it that goes to the setback to the bluff, but that's probably about 5% of the overall build or the addition they're putting on here. I think when we look at the overall protection that has been given to the lake on this property, not only the driveway part to stop some of the water from coming all the way down the hill. He's willing to address taking care of the small amount of erosion that's there, having some plant gardens and things down along there. We didn't see any erosion when we were out there. With his engineered plan and some of the things that he's going to be implementing and doing this so that there is no erosion during this, I think it's very reasonable. He's below the impervious surface calculation that's allowed. So I would happen to say yes to question two.
Thank you, Clint. Question three, will the issuance of the variance maintain the essential character of the locality? I'll take this one. When you look at where the addition is going on to the existing home, whether you're looking at it from the lake or from the top of the driveway, there's nothing too obnoxious about it. And typically when you have something that's being proposed that is way out of character, you either have somebody from the county that's saying something, somebody from the board saying something, or certainly neighbors that are speaking up at that moment in time. And we haven't had any of that with this specific application, in addition to the letter that went out. So I don't see that being an issue. Okay, question four. Is the alleged practical difficulty due to circumstances unique to the property? Marv?
Well, the practical difficulty is new determination that it's a bluff.
Yes.
And in the bluff condition, one portion of that land is like 28%, the other one is like 31, 32. So here you have these conditions. His willingness to move it where the deck was will not be in the bluff areas, but the building is in it. So the practical difficulty is still the bluff, and I don't know if I 100% support this because I'm very adamant about preserving this property or because of a bluff, but with his willingness to go ahead and have an engineered plan helps make this where it would be palatable. So I would lean more towards a yes at that point.
Thanks, Marv.
I'd just like to add that when we're looking at this, yes, the part of it is the bluff, but he's just the building, the current cabin that's there, it don't meet the setbacks. Part of it, it's in the setback. Where he's proposing to do this, if we look at question 1 through 3, we answered all them yes, and for good reasons why. So a lot of them things were answered. So I think that kind of ties in to help with the practical difficulty that he meets everything we've asked so far until we get to that. And with that being in the corner like that, I'd just like to add that to Marv's answer.
Thank you, Clint.
Mr. Chair.
Brent?
Just one further addition here. It's not often that we look at a property that has a 29,000 square foot building envelope. However, you know, it's shoreland, and so you're focusing on that water view, lake view area of it. And built in 1974, the house was put in a place before there was a bluff determination in 1990. As it turns out, the house was fairly well placed, not knowing where that determination might be in the future. And only now are we struggling to address that through a variance process. They put it back 85 feet back then, and they put it in a location that was close to the bluff, and it turned out that it kind of clipped the corner of the house as it is as a bluff. But this is certainly a unique property for a lot of different reasons.
Thank you, Brent. Question 5 is the need for the variance created by actions other than the landowner or prior landowners. Back to you, Brent.
You know, the bluff is what makes this a non-conforming structure. There's a setback to that bluff that kind of goes into the existing home. This wasn't the issue in 1974 when it was built. It comes about as 1990. Now we're struggling with a variance to address it. So the bluff, the determination, and the setback to a bluff is all what's driving this. It's not necessarily the landowner or prior landowners that created the situation. So we've got a landowner now that's trying to work with the existing rules that are in place at this time and has come up with a plan that I think kind of addresses this, but it's not necessarily their fault.
Thank you, Brent. Question 6, does the alleged practical difficulty involve more than just economic considerations?
Yes, I believe so. I believe it's not even much about economics. The practical difficulty was already stated. You know, we talked about, like Brent stated, when they originally put that in there, if they would have moved it over just a few feet, you could almost argue that everything, even with this new addition, would fit in the building envelope. It's just the way it worked out. If we are going to talk economics, all the practices that he's implemented already and what he's going to be doing in this project, if it's passed, is going to cost him more money. So I think he's trying to be the best steward of the lake and the shoreline as he can be, why he wants to do his project or for his family. So I'd have to say yes to question 6.
Thank you, Clint. Okay, as we're moving on here, we're going through the vote on questions 1 through 6. We got one condition that the applicant has agreed to in order to work with the water flow and engineer a different process at the end of the driveway there. But the application for the variance is on the build out there. So question 1, is the request in harmony with the general purposes and intent of the Morrison County Land Use Ordinance and Comprehensive Plan? Brent?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
John is yes. Marv?
I was going to say no to this one, but with the conditions, I will say yes.
Question 2, is the applicant proposing to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by the land use ordinance? Clint?
Yes.
John is yes. Marv?
Yes.
Brent?
Yes.
Question 3, will the issuance of the variance maintain the essential character of the locality? John is yes. Marv?
Yes.
Brent?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
Question 4, is the alleged practical difficulty due to circumstances unique to the property? Marv?
Well, as I stated earlier, I would have said no to it, but I'm going to say yes with the conditions.
Brent?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
John is yes. Question 5, is the need for the variance created by actions other than the landowner or prior landowners? Brent?
Yes.
Clint?
Yes.
John is yes. Marv?
Yes.
Question 6, does the alleged practical difficulty involve more than just economic considerations? Clint?
Yes.
John is yes. Marv?
Yes.
Brent?
Yes.
I got all 6 answered to the affirmative. Is there a motion to approve this variance as requested
Mr. Chair, I'd make that motion.
With the condition?
with the conditions?
Condition.
Yes.
And I'll second that.
Motion was made by Brent and seconded by Clint to approve the variance as requested. All in favor? Brent?
Aye.
Marv?
Aye.
Clint?
Aye.
John is aye. Your requested variance is approved. And thank you for the application and the time.
Thank you. Appreciate your time, everyone.
Yep, thank you.
New or old business?
I don't think I've got either one, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Then we have minutes from August 19th. Any edits, additions, revisions? If
Like
not,
to-
motion to,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
I will second that.
motion was made and seconded, made by Clint, seconded by Marv. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Minutes approved. And then last on the agenda item,
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to adjourn.
motion made to adjourn
I'll second it.
and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Meeting adjourned at 7:58 PM.